The UN Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan says the bombing on a Doctors Without Borders hospital over the weekend and a pharmacy also over the weekend was deliberate and may amount to a war crime. The attack happened in the early hours of the morning when two helicopter gunships first dropped a bomb on the MSF pharmacy, burning it to the ground. Then another attack was launched in the old town of Fangak. That's around 30 minutes from there. For around 30 minutes, that's how long that attack continued. Now, at around 7 in the morning, a drone is said to have bombed the Old Fangak market. Since then, we know up to 7 people have reportedly been killed, while 20 were injured. Monica Genya is with the Doctors Without Borders organization. She's director there, in fact, here in South Africa. Good to have your time, Monica, on SABC News. Speak to us about the attack over the weekend. How surprising was it, considering that just a few weeks ago, there was another attack on a Doctors Without Borders facility?
Yes, the surprise, we were taken by surprise by this attack, even though we've had a similar attack at our hospital in Ulang, Upper Western Nile. We were just blindsided by this. Hospitals and medical facilities should not be attacked by any of the warring parties.
And what does the destruction of a pharmacy and a hospital then mean for the population that would have depended on these facilities? I mean, when you look at the Old Fangak hospital there, it serviced about 110,000 people, I understand?
Yes, that's correct. It's the only hospital in Fangak County serving a population of over 110,000 people who already have had extremely limited access to healthcare. And now there's nowhere for people to access healthcare in the town. And we are extremely concerned for the well-being of the population.
Extremely concerned. What does it mean if that population, which, as you say, already had limited access to healthcare, is further stripped of the very limited access? What are the risks to the sick and the injured?
They will have absolutely nowhere to go. What we've done right now is we've evacuated the wounded who we could take with us to a temporary health facility in a nearby town. This critically injured have been taken to ICRC facilities further away, evacuated to ICRC facilities. But the people of the town of Fangak do not have access to any hospital level care and will not be able to have any access until we can ensure that they're safe if they come back to the hospital.
And there's been no immediate claim of responsibility. Even as I had a look this afternoon, no one had claimed responsibility for the attack. As Doctors Without Borders, do you know who would have struck your facilities?
No, we do not have confirmation of who carried out the attack, but what we can say is the assault involved helicopter gunships and drone strikes, and it was deliberate. It was a deliberate bombing of a medical facility, even though we had shared our GPS coordinates with all the warring parties in advance. Mm-hmm. This attack has had a devastating impact on the hospital's ability to provide essential healthcare.
And we're hearing now the UN Commission on Human Rights speak about how this could amount to a war crime. But given how long these investigations can take and how little accountability there often is, do you believe that we could see a process here that leads to justice for the 7 dead and the about 20 injured?
We would absolutely hope so, and we know that would take some time. What we do agree is that humanitarian space has to be respected, and health workers, patients, and facilities must never be attacked.
Is it safe for Doctors Without Borders staff to remain in that part of South Sudan, given, once again, that this is not the first time your hospitals have come under attack?
It is not safe by any means, and we are strongly condemning these attacks on healthcare facilities, and we are asking for all parties in the conflict to please respect humanitarian space so that we can bring medical care to people who need it.
And as you say, the coordinates, as happens, in fact, in wartime, sadly, in many countries, there is communication that organizations like yours would give around coordinates, the sort of work that you are doing. Sometimes you would need certain permissions to be granted for you to reach the injured and the sick, right? In this case, you had done that. You'd covered all your bases, no claim of responsibility. What are the two sides, if it is just two sides at this point, given the complicated history, the political history in South Sudan? What are they all saying to you in terms of the continued safety of your staff? Are they willing to guarantee that work can continue in benefit of the many people who depend on Doctors Without Borders?
Yes, at the moment we are seeking that guarantee, and we are asking the parties in the conflict to give us that guarantee so that we can continue with our work. Our hospitals are always clearly marked medical structures, and we share our geolocations with all the parties concerned at all times. And we're seeking guarantees so that we can go back and continue to provide life-saving healthcare.
And as things stand, I mean, when you look at the history of South Sudan, we know there's a long-standing conflict between those who back Riek Machar. Salva Kiir is on the other side as well. At this point, one of the men is believed to be under house arrest. There's been a flare-up of violence since then. Basically, a peace deal, let's say, that was struck around 2018 has, for all intents and purposes, collapsed. But is that the extent of the complication around the politics and the stability of the country, or are there other players, to your knowledge?
The situation, as you say, is very complex. MSF has been providing medical care for decades, for a very long time in South Sudan right now. We would really long to see the end of this conflict. But regardless of the players in the conflict, we're providing medical care to everybody in need, regardless of their background or affiliation.
What I was trying to understand is, are those the main players in terms of negotiating the safety of your staff? Are those the two sides who you would have to speak to?
Amongst others, for sure.
Who are the other players?
At the moment, it's not very clear to us, and I think we're still investigating who we need to speak to in order to guarantee the safety of our patients and our healthcare workers. We know that there are probably multiple sides, and we're trying to get information.
And are you continuing to treat the sick and the injured in that region? And if so, how?
Absolutely. So we are not intending to leave the region completely. We've opened a temporary healthcare facility close to Old Fangak. We've airlifted 350 kilos of medical supplies to this location in order to ensure that we can continue to function. Many people have fled from the town, and some are arrived where we're now based. But the Old Fangak hospital itself is no longer available at the moment.
And what are the main medical needs of the population there at the moment, Monica?
We are treating victims of violence, of course. We're seeing people with malnutrition. We are delivering care to mothers and children, maternal care, and child health care.
Good to talk to you, Monica Genya, the association, or with the Doctors Without Borders organization director there, speaking to us about the situation in South Sudan, where one of their facilities came under fire over the weekend.